And with that down, let's jump over to our next main topic, the Sony State of Play event. Evan, I know you don't own a PS5 right now. I think it's on your list in the future. You'd like to play some of these games. So maybe do you want to run this down and toss them over to me, and we'll go through this State of Play event and whether we think it was good or bad?
Yeah, I will just kind of list some things off and kind of take a look at you, like
Hmm.
if you have anything to say about them, because there's a handful of things here. And if you're not interested, then I don't want to waste a bunch of time on it.
Sure.
So yeah, we first got Baby Steps is a different kind of adventure game.
By different, it's very different. It reminded me of Getting Over It. If anybody's played that on PC, where you're like that little guy with a pickaxe, and you gotta like manipulate yourself over like all these obstacles, which was like kind of a cool game. But this one was like very raunchy, unnecessarily, a lot of f bombs dropped, and I was just like, what? This is how you're starting your state of play? That was my thought on this game, and that's it.
Yeah, real awkward. It looked like a literal walking simulator.
Yes.
Uh, Ghosts. So we got some VR stuff with Ghostbusters: Rise of the Ghost Lord.
Yeah, that's I don't know what you thought about this one. I mean, it looked fun, but they're hurting hard for PSVR 2 titles. This was expensive piece of equipment. They basically had the Horizon thing that came with it and a couple other games, but they don't have much, so they need more, and this just feels like a title that they can put out there, and it looks like a cool little thing, but you got to have that expensive equipment first. So
Yeah. And Resident Evil 4 might be the one to convince you to get it, right?
oh yeah, man. I mean, I would crap my pants playing this in VR. I don't know if I want to. I'm a huge Resident Evil fan, but man,
Yeah, that's true.
nuts. Like, what did you
That was
think looking
next.
at this?
It looked awesome. I mean, it looks. I've got to jump into RE4 first off and just see
Mhm.
if it's my kind of game. But obviously, like I don't have a PS, so this is a massive investment for me to even think
Yeah,
about. But it looked. I thought it looked incredible. Whether it's for me or not, I didn't think too much for.
yeah, and they
Um,
also had along with this announcement, they kind of announced an expansion for the RE4 remake and the mercenary mode that everybody loved from the
yeah,
original game, which I was really excited about. I've mentioned it on the podcast before, so
just
that's
more
super
reason for me
cool.
to jump in.
Same. So
Yeah.
I haven't played RE4 remake yet. It's been a loaded year, but it'd be like early next year. I think I'll look for a sale on what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. So next up is Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. And that one I'm gonna say real quick, like that I love the Avatar universe. I mean, call me basic, whatever. But I know it's good, it gets its criticisms or whatever, but like I just I have this hope in me. It's not I don't have high hopes, but I do have this hope in me that Ubisoft is kind of finally making their turnaround and kind of getting back to some of the good titles and some variety, a little bit unique gameplay, kind of
Hmm.
fixing the formula, as you will, because
Yeah.
they have been like the picture of like this just formulaic or open world RPG that has gotten
Yeah.
old and stale.
Yeah. You'll look at a game and be like, yep, looks like an Ubisoft game. Like you can tell, right? And this one looks a little different to your point. I'm not an Avatar fan at all. Like I've watched the movies. They're fine for what they are, but I'm not head over heels like everybody else for this. But this game looks cool. It looked kind of like it kind of had a little bit of survival elements because I saw them like cooking food and stuff. So I
Hmm.
don't know if that was flavor text or flavor gameplay to get you immersed in the world, but overall, this thing looks great. It would look great on an HDR,
Looks
nice
pretty,
TV.
yeah.
Yeah. Is the gameplay going to be good? We'll find out. But yeah, definitely jump on and check this one out, I think.
Yeah. Next, Ghost Runner 2 got a new trailer. Did you play the first one?
I didn't. Did you play the first one?
Okay. I did not, but
I'm
this looked sick.
I'm highly interested. I'm definitely into that cyberpunk type scene. That's the vibe I got from watching this trailer, as well as the original Ghost Runner. It's on my. Is it on PS Plus? I think maybe.
I'm not sure. I'd have to look
Yeah, if
into
you're a
it.
listener, let us know in the comments if it's on PS Plus or if you've played it and what your thoughts are on it. But Ghost
Come to the
Runner's,
Discord, talk about it.
yeah, the shameless plug for the Discord. Yeah, I want to try and play Ghost Runner 1 before I jump into this, but this looks sweet.
Yeah. And then Helldivers 2 was after Ghost Runner, and we played a little bit of the first one.
Yeah, and this looks awesome. It looks super super awesome. The vibes I got from this were like, at least from this trailer, was multiplayer focused, right? And they had the little voiceover of the people playing, and they're getting their butts kicked and all that stuff. And then they had the heroic moment and win, which is a little generic, but the game looked cool, right? So they showed the multiplayer third person shooter. You're fighting these alien bugs, much like Starship Troopers on a planet. And yeah, it looks sweet. I'm looking forward to this. I think Sony needs to put this on the PS Plus subscription service to be a heavy hitter for them.
Yep, that would be a helpful justification of that price increase, right?
Yeah.
And I think this is PC as well, right? The first one was
Mhm.
if it's crossplay, we might have to jump into that.
Yeah, that could be good.
The next one was just another look at Spider-Man 2. That they brought they showed off like that they have over 60 new suits, and I'm not big on cosmetics, but some of those suits look pretty sick, right?
Yeah, they were pretty cool. So don't quote me, but the first one I would say maybe had like 15 or 20 suits, and the Miles Morales one maybe had a dozen for him or something. And there are pre-order suits. I know we were talking about this before the show, so not all of these are like microtransaction DLC. You can pre-order, get some extra special suits, but I always thought that the suits you earned in game were so much better. So you earn them through certain story events, getting them enough points to like unlock it, or like some type of challenge or event. Oh, you beat the challenge with Craven or something. You beat the challenge with Mysterio, so you get this suit. That type of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, the stuff they showed looks great. They focused on, they're adding those 2 boroughs to New York, which were missing in the previous games. So yeah, super excited, but a little worried that this is kind of all they're showing. This is just focusing on Spider-Man.
From first party, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Real quick on those spider suits, do they have any like gameplay like variants, or is it just
No.
purely a cosmetic thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I
zero.
was wondering because I saw some of them had like electrical like aura or whatever around
Mhm.
them or something. I was just like, oh, like does that do something? But no, that's cool.
Ye-
They look super cool. I love the, like you said, the in-game earn it. Like it just feels like games that we played growing up, because
Mhm.
before the days of microtransactions. Really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, Tales of Arise was next, beyond the Tales of Arise Beyond the Dawn
Mhm.
DLC.
Have
Is
you
that
played
correct?
any Tales games at all?
I haven't.
Yeah, I haven't. It's on my list to play, and the people that I know that have played them gush about them, and they really, I mean, there's different tiers of how good they are, the Tales games, but I've heard good things in general, and on my backlog list to check out one of these. So keep my eye on Tales of Arise and this DLC and see if it's worth it.
Yeah, and then finally, we had Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the second part of the 3-part remake of Final Fantasy VII. I've
Hmm.
never played any Final Fantasy VII,
Hmm.
but man, this looks stunning.
It looked incredible. They showed so many clips from throughout the game and the story, and I know they've changed some things, including in the other one that they did, the interlude one or whatever the title is, part 1. But yeah, I was blown away by this. Looks awesome. Got a February 2024 date, and then I think a combo pack as well for the other Final Fantasy 7 Part 1, and then this.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was reading the agenda there for a second. Did you
Hmm.
ask a question?
No, I didn't. You're good. I'll cut that part.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no. So, I mean, we kind of had some good things to say about the state of the games that were there, but there was like very few games, especially compared to what we're going to be talking about next. Uh, what do you in what one first party game that was there?
Yeah, yeah. There was 9. I think I counted 9 total things. I
Mhm.
mean, that's what are we doing, Sony? Like seriously.
This feels like Xbox's 2022, to be
It,
honest.
that's an insult, but that's a good point.
Yeah, it's not getting nearly the flack because they have Spider-Man, right? Like
Right.
Xbox had Psychonauts and Pentiment,
Right.
but um, yeah, I don't know. And then we don't really have, at least like so like we had Starfield to look forward to. Redfall was talked about. Obviously, we know how that went, but
Hmm.
coming out of 2022, we're like, all right, but we got Starfield coming. And I mean, we have, I guess, Wolverine coming, but we also, there was talks about Fable. There's a lot of games that we knew were coming down the pipe, knew were coming down. We don't know anything beyond Wolverine. So
Yeah.
Insomniac's coming out with a game in October, and then the only other game we know about is
Is
also
those
Insomniac.
Insomniac. Well, we do know.
It's like, what?
There is the one other game. Man, do you know
Foam Stars, right? No, I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
folks. That's
Sorry.
hilarious. Yeah. So that's I don't know what they're doing, right? Because I really have to question Sony at this point. You're releasing the PlayStation Portal, their new PSP, and there's a lot of questions around that and its capabilities, and if they're just trying to do a Me Too thing where they're throwing, hey, we have a mobile device as well, just like the other guys. The PlayStation Plus price increases really bad, 33% or more price increases there. Like, you're not putting out games to justify this increase, and you're not putting out games to justify an expensive PSVR 2 headset or this PlayStation Portal. Granted, not expensive. I think the price is fine at 200. It could be doing more on the hardware itself, but what are your thoughts here on where Sony's at? And I think the way you put it is Xbox is 2022. These guys are on their heels a little bit.
Yeah, and it's wild. So, it's like that barren year that, like, say, Xbox had last year. But, like, at the same time, in that same year, they have found three ways to just take more money from you. So not only are they not showing you what's coming next, but like you just said, they had the PSVR came out this year, the PlayStation Portal,
Yep.
and the PS Plus subscription increases, price increases. And it's like, how are you going to take more of my money when you got nothing for me to play coming down the pipe?
Right.
The PSVR, it's got a couple, the direct had or the state of play today had a couple of cool looking games or whatever, but like there's hardly any incentive looking at this game or at this unit to purchase this. Like, why would I spend this much on this hardware on top of the already $500, $400, $500 that I've given the consumer's given you for the PlayStation that you have to go with it? I don't know, man. It feels like maybe they've gotten too cocky. But and maybe they kind of got lost. That I know they had like 11 games as service games or some wild number of games as a service games, in development at some point. And like maybe that's like we're seeing at a time that we've seen a backlash over the last like 12 months or so, where a lot of these games as a service are shutting down, things are getting delayed, poorly. Like I think fans are finally starting to like, dude, enough is enough. Like, we can handle a few of these, but like every game that comes out can't be some games of service. You don't have an unlimited amount of money from these gamers, right?
And time, right? And time.
Yeah. Yep.
Time is money, right? So I think they doubled down in the wrong direction, dude. I think you're 100% right. This games as a service thing was the wave for a bit, and there's still going to be things that come through as games as a service and are good. There are good games that are games as a service. It may not be for everyone, but there are good games. But they doubled down. They bought Bungie, and they had Bungie come through and look at all these different projects and give the thumbs up or thumbs down on them. And I think that's part of the reason that this, from Naughty Dog, this Last of Us multiplayer thing was kind of canned or pushed away, and they're moving on to something else. So, I think it might have been a mistake, and I think they're going to be hurting here for a little bit because it takes a while to put these games as service games together, and they're not launching anything. Like, they're on this gap, right? So they're going to launch Spider-Man, they're going to do Final Fantasy VII, and then what else is going on?
Yeah, we're getting maybe some remasters and GOTY type of or ultimate versions of, like, I think Forbidden West is supposed to get an ultimate version, things like that.
Right.
And that's only rumor. That's not announced, right? So, I thought after their showcase in May, and then we came and the Xbox showcase was like really good. And I had this like bad feeling. I was like, oh man, they're gonna give like Xbox's good grace, and like, oh man, Xbox finally showed up and finally like showed something that had a better showing than PlayStation for once in like a decade, what feels like a forever, a generation. And I was just like, I as an Xbox owner and not a PlayStation owner and a little bit of an Xbox fan, I'm just kind of like, I'm kind of wondering if Sony comes out when Starfield, in September, when Starfield releases, and they're like, okay, yeah, you have Starfield, boom, drops a bunch of announcements. Then now get excited about this next God of War, the next Uncharted game, like boom, 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 boom. And it's just like, oh yeah, forget about Starfield. Look at Sony again. And that didn't happen.
Yeah, no, that was like the perfect timing, right? And
yeah,
I also expected to see something like them come out swinging just to counteract that Starfield launch. That's been fantastic. And it just didn't happen. Hey, thanks for watching, and make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more videos like this and new episodes of the Remote Play Gaming Podcast every other Wednesday. You can join the conversation by leaving a comment below,
or check out our Discord linked in the description. Farewell for now, and keep gaming.